Hello and welcome. I apologise for not following up on my other videos, but what it is I ended up with an abscess in my left ear, and I've perforated my eardrum. So, well, how can I put it? Doing anything that requires me to use my ears a lot is kind of a bit of a challenge. Can't hear properly through it. It's actually putting me about, to be fair. I'm a bit disoriented and things like that. It's just really weird having an abscess in your ear, is all I can say. So I ended up on antibiotics and all sorts, but it's getting there now, but it's still not entirely there. It's a bit muffled. So I just thought I'd do something a little bit, just something a bit off the cuff. Let's try out some tape machines on this little track I've got. So this is another little test project, a sketch. I was just playing around with some different plugins. One of them is this T-Rex 5 Fame Studio Reverb by Multimedia. What they've done is they've basically captured the impulse responses of the different rooms at Fame Studios. So you've got the Studio A live room, Studio A booths, Studio B booths, Studio B live room, then you've got a chamber and a plate reverb. And I'm not going to spend forever on it because it's not really the focus of this video, but what you can do is you can actually pick the positions where countless records have been recorded within the actual room at the studio. They've captured impulse responses of it. So it's not a reverb in the traditional sense. It's more of a room simulator. In this video, I'm going to focus on these tape machines. So let's just have a listen to what it is without the tape machines. We'll stop there because you'll hear it all anyway when I start adding the tape machines in there. So I've had a little play about with these. They're pretty good actually, I've got to admit. This is well, hold on. It's by Tascam. This is the Tascam tape set, which is the tape collection. Tascam tape collection. 4 different tape machines. I don't like this word here. Magic. Recreating the magic. Oh my god. You've got to love PR stuff, haven't you? But the plugins do sound good. And if you're going to just take it on the surface, you can say as a figure of speech, the magic. But some people actually think that there is a magic inside equipment that can't be measured. It's cringy. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the TIAC A6100 Mark II. It's a mastering tape machine. Still highly sought after today. Yeah. It adds warmth and colour to your master bus. Well, I should hope it does. So this is all default settings. True stereo means the left and right channels will not be exactly the same. If you turn that off, it will process them exactly the same on either side, which even if you're in stereo, it will produce a stereo output, but it's not processing them both independently with the differences between the two. Transport modelling, it models everything about the tape moving and the slight fluctuations in it and stuff like that. You can go to the input and just use the transformer that was inside the machine, or if you're in repro mode, it's using the transformer and the tape. You've got different tape speeds, so 7.5 inches per second and 15 inches per second. Then you've got different tape formulas. You've got controls for the record head, controls for the playhead, and an auto calibration button, which I'm not really sure about that, but I'm not going to be using it anyway, so well, I might give it a click. So it's on the master bus. What I might do, or looking to do it, is putting it across all the tracks, but it is quite a heavy plugin to run because of the inherent calculations and everything required to model the circuitry of the tape machine and the behavior of tape itself. So what you would have to do really, I suppose, I mean, if you've got a beast or a computer, you might get away with running a few, but if you want, I mean, this is designed to go on just a single, on a master bus. So, I mean, this one, it's just a 2-track. But on the 8-track, I have 8 buses here, so I'd probably put like an 8-track across all of these. But I mean, there's no rules. You could do that with this anyway. But yeah, then you'd have to like render all of these or freeze them or something to give yourself the CPU to run another. But anyway, we're just going to be looking at them on the master track and seeing how they sound. So I'm just going to balance, probably drive the input a little bit, and I'll level match it so that when I disable it, I'll try and use this, but I might, by habit, use this check mark up here to turn it on and off. But I will balance it so that when I turn it off, you can't hear a level difference. So we'll just be hearing the tape and the effects of it rather than the volume difference between the two. You know, because your ears will always think that things that are louder sound better. But yeah. So we're nowhere near driving it here. Let's crank it up a bit. So you can see it's pretty much level matched. Drive it a little bit more. Try some different formulas. I always tend to like GP9. Kind of sounds more modern and full. And actually, I think, well, GP9. Yeah, this tape accepts higher levels of signal with minimal distortion and compression. It's very punchy and perfect for modern, high-quality or analog recordings. So, going to the input. So auto calibration, what does that do exactly? Yeah, with the low tape speed, you're going to hear more compression on the bottom end. Tends to make it sound more thicker and rounder while sacrificing the top end. It will be lower fidelity because obviously if you're not using as much tape, if it's travelling slower, you're trying to squeeze more onto a particular piece of tape than if it's running at a higher speed. So you'll lose some fidelity, but like I say, you get more rounded bottom ends. just sounds kind of flat when it's not there. So now let's have a look at some of these. We can turn up the level and even EQ the high frequencies on the record head. And we could use that as a pre and post emphasis, because we can actually, on the playhead, we can drop the high frequency back down, but we also have a low frequency EQ on the playhead as well. On the record head, we have this bias. Now, bias is kind of interesting, because with the bias, we can actually over-bias the signal and get some saturation and things like that, but we could also under-bias it and also achieve saturation, but different. It's kind of difficult to explain. I'll show you. So you can see it's slamming it. Let's lower the level. Go the other way. Now listen to that. That is weird. Very weird. So under-biasing can produce some very strange sounds. We'll lower down the level and push the bias. Yeah, you can hear the saturation. It's subtle, but it's there. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's try dropping the level on the playhead, but putting it back to its default on the record head. Let's try boosting the record level. Now you're starting to hear the saturation a lot more. So when you're running a hotter signal, having the bias higher is your friend. Let's look at this high frequency EQ. So that's the TIAC A6100. Yeah, it did clip a little bit when I changed a few controls, like it boosted out when I needed to turn it down. But I'll save you from that in the edit. So this is the A3340S. So let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, it's a 4-track tape recorder behind some of the most famous demos and songs in history. For example, the Doobie Brothers used it to record several of the song demos that earned them a record deal, while Brian Eno and others still use it today for its sonic qualities. Oh baby, give me a little bit of that magic. Looks a bit like my Fostex tape machine actually. So yeah, I mean, this is probably one that I would scatter over various bus tracks, but let's have a listen to it on the master. Seems a bit more area than that one. Again, I like the GP9. So listen to how it saturates. Actually, when bumping these up, it's quite musical. Compensate. Bass sounds nice and rounded. It definitely sounds much more rounded on the low end with the low tape speed on this machine, albeit a little bit overpowering. crisps up more with the low tape speed, as it should. Anyway, that's that one. Now we're on to this Tascam 388, which was actually... it combined a mixing console and a tape machine into one. Kelly Stoltz made the 388 famous again around 2001 when he used it to record some hit songs and their sound went viral. Oh no, there's that word again. Surely trolling me. Oh my god. Anyway, here it is. So we have a EQ section and there's familiar controls for the bias level and high EQ, but there's no tape speed on this. It just runs at a constant rate, which is probably 15 inches per second. But yeah, we have a slightly different tape formula set as well, by the looks of things. And what did that one have? 911, 456, 499. So the 3.5 is a different tape formula. Yeah, so we've got a more fully featured 3-band EQ here with the frequency and gain controls. So let's have a listen to what this one sounds like. In fact, let's take it from the top. Give it a bit more level. So let's drive it a little bit more. Yeah, I would expect that it's running at 15 inches per second. Again, I think I just like the GP9 tape type. I mean, to be fair, they all sound good. I suppose it depends on the use case. Okay, what I want to try doing is the EQ. Yeah. also like there's overlap between these. So I mean, this can go up to 5K, and this lowest value is 2.5K, so there's that much overlap on each control. So if you needed to, I don't know, let's say that you needed to EQ something around 2K, but then you also needed to do something around, I don't know, 2.6K, you can get in there and do it across two bands, which is pretty cool. So let's have a listen to the bias level, and on the record head we can also EQ the high frequencies as it's going into the tape. Let's try over biasing it, or under biasing. So this tape formula really suffers from overbiasing. 456 does as well in a different way, and 499 and GP9 sound crunchy, but okay. Sounds a lot more 3D with the tape on. Okay, and then the last one is a Porter Studio. Now this is really for sort of, you know, your low fidelity kind of stuff. The Porter Studio was sort of a consumer grade recording, 8-track recorder back in the day. Here it is, that's it. So, yeah, lo-fi sounds, creative experiments, and even for live performance. So, you can expect this one to crisp up a lot. If you're not pushing it too far, it'll sound okay, but it'll crisp up a lot very easily. They weren't totally rubbish, it's just that they were a cost-effective solution. They did have a definite character, especially if you started to crank them. So let's have a listen. So straight off the bat, you can hear it's not at all transparent, is it really? There's just two cassette tape formulas, Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 was your cheapest cassette that you could buy from your local store. Easy enough. Type 1 is a lot darker sounding, but it's warm. And with some EQing, let's EQ it after the record head. that's type 2. So we don't have the freedom to change which frequencies we're EQing, but we can EQ the low frequency and the high frequency with their preset values. But to be fair, if my memory serves me correctly, on the original device, that's all you could do as well. Okay, let's progress. Ooh, that bass is really thick. Okay, let's try biasing it. Over bias. Well, under bias first. Oh, that's filthy. Ooh, filthy. Filthy, I do like it though. And when I say I like it, I mean, if I was maybe using it to create a noise texture or something like that, you know, it's not something I like on the master bus, but for a certain element of a mix, it could come in useful. Okay, let's go the other way. Biasing, even there, you can hear it. Okay, let's drop the level, go the other way. That extra saturation is kind of making it higher fidelity in a way. By boosting this right up and dropping that right down, we're EQing the playhead, taking out what we've added in, but because we've added it in on the record stage, it's hitting the record stage harder before it goes in, so when it's reproduced we then remove it, but we're still retaining the distortion, or rather the saturation that it adds to the high end. Which makes it stand out a bit. So that's a Tascam tape collection from IK Multimedia, and I think it sounds pretty good actually. I'm going to have a lot of fun messing around with them a bit more, and they all have their own flavours, their own characteristics, so it's just more paints in the palette. If I had one criticism, it'd be that there's no auto gain, but I can forgive them. I'll probably do another video at some point, probably a track with some bass, drums, guitars, keys, maybe some vocals. But this video's getting longer than I expected, so that's it for now. And if you like this content, feel free to comment, like, share and subscribe. You know the deal. And until next time, thank you for watching.